haven't done my countdown. Oh, right. Completely failed at the first hurdle. We were meant to do a countdown. So I'm not going to play the countdown now.
Do it.
Hold on. Right.
Anyone who's watching live who's not, let's just
pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not here.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Just wanted to give you a fright.
And then
I was like, I mean, I was quite happy that you'd gone off to do something, but I'm like, this literally just proves how live this
Had to do
is.
something funny.
And do you know what happened was, because obviously, guys, if you've been watching any of these before, we do a countdown for 30 seconds and then we go live and we say hi to you all. And Alan must have been under the pressure of Justina in the room right now,
I know,
video queen right there.
Well, we've got two kind of, I can't even think up a word big enough to describe them both.
Collective.
Collective was it.
I was using media powerhouses on one of them.
God.
Yeah, take it.
I think that's, but you need to take this,
How are you married?
Yeah, to Emily. This is my wife, but you may have met her. So.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us on this live today. This is one of many live streams we've been doing over the last couple of weeks, talking about, I don't know if we mentioned it before, the Digital Circus Live. If you haven't heard of it yet, where have you been? Have you been under a rock? It's our event on the 18th of May, and we will be discussing it in a bit more detail later on in this conversation. But what we thought we would do for the next couple of weeks is bring some of our incredible speakers to the table to say hello to you, to introduce who they are, what they do, a little bit about what they're speaking about, but just have a nice, good old chat, really.
Good old chat,
we like a good old chat.
We do. And because, sorry, who's go?
Sorry, I was saying, love it. I was just joining in.
Oh, sorry. And because we just always want to give as much as across. We like to have a little theme. But first of all, let's us stop talking and let's the others introduce them. Zoe, would you like to introduce yourself first, please?
Hello, my name is Zoe Hanson, and I have worked in radio and in broadcasting for about 20 years now. And now I am podcasting. I have the So Show podcast, and we were featured on Radio 4 the other day. Ooh,
Hey.
I always thought it was for intelligent and cultured people, but
Too high.
we're on there, apparently not.
Yeah, my dial doesn't go past Radio 2, unfortunately. So.
Yes, so that's what I do now.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So, and were you not on the TV the other day as well? Briefly?
Oh yes, very, very much up there with Radio 4 and the cultured bit. I was on In for a Penny with Stephen Mulhern on Saturday night, getting drenched, but I was wearing a white dress, so they picked the whole of my top half out.
Good work. Definitely going to find that on the replay later on. Thank you very much, Zoe. And on our top right, we have Justina. Good afternoon, Justina.
Hello, and hello everyone, and thank you, by the way, I'm so excited to be part of the Digital Circus Live. It really is exciting. So yes, really pleased to be involved in it. So my name is Justina, and as you said, I'm all things video. My background is being at the BBC for a very long time, for nearly 16 odd years, and in that time I worked through promotions, program making, idea generation, new program commissioning, and that's kind of really set up well for what I do now, which is video marketing. I've run this business for the last 10 years, and it's had several pivots along that time. More recently is when I'm working with entrepreneurs and small business owners, micro business owners, medium business owners, about getting their content working for them on video, and themselves, making sure that they're showing up in a way that's authentic for them, and getting their videos looking awesome and getting results, not just video because it's trendy.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for your introduction, Justina. Now, we have you both in the room today because Alan is fanboying a lot today, but you guys are incredible at what you do, and the power of both audio and visual, in our opinion, in sort of our yellow tuxedo heads here, we think they are so incredible and really are assets to your business that you should be using if you use them properly and well. And Justin, I'm sure you said in terms of using that strategy there to make sure that you're not just putting it out for the sake of TikTok saying you should be putting content on your short form. So you guys, we were really keen to get together in the room because of you kind of complement each other really, really well.
Right there, love.
Oh no,
We'll edit it. It's fine. We'll edit
it's live, right?
Out in the wash.
Yeah, great, fantastic. But also for the fact that what you're bringing to the Digital Circus live when you are running your workshops is the ability to understand that you can bring it into your strategy, that you shouldn't shy away from content like this as part of your overarching strategy if it fits. And so many people that we speak to are, it's out of my remit, it's not my comfort zone, I don't understand the tech, I don't think my business is videoable or audioable, it's not the kind of stuff that should be on it. And I always think that actually they're missing an opportunity. And what I'm hoping you guys will be imparting with your knowledge on the day itself will be that it is accessible. You should be thinking about these things for X, Y, Z, and how people can get started with that. Why I would love to talk today is I know I'm talking really fast. I've had a couple of coffees. And I'm a little we did a live stream this morning, and Alan got told off by a gentleman going, "Let the lady speak."
I know, I did. Right, look, let's ask Justina.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to discuss storytelling, don't we? That's what we want to talk. Let's get to the crux of it.
Storytelling is a big part of businesses, and in terms of their content they create, and we all create lots of content for Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and things. But actually what I find, and I've seen from the businesses that we work with, is that idea of storytelling. They don't know where to start. They don't know what they should impart. They don't know what they should be and how to deliver that. I would love to know, maybe starting with Zoe, what's your thought on businesses telling their story and sort of giving
I guess that's professional and personal as well. You know, that's bringing that personal brand stuff to the forefront, as well as, you know, we talk in Yellow Tuxedo, we call it share your adventure with your audience, right? But there's kind of obviously there's your business brand as well as your, you know, your personal brand, your mixed mag ice cream van in Ibiza type stuff. It's about getting that, you know, what's your take on the stories element?
So for a very short while, I actually did a proper sales job. And that was my first sort of introduction to networking. And what happened to me was I realized that, and I was told so many times, people buy people. So actually, while you're there, your business is your brand, but you are also your brand. So what you're trying to do is make people interested in you, because once they start talking to you, they buy into the brand as well. So your story backs it up, but it also gets the initial interest.
Great. Sorry.
That's why we both shouldn't do that. I'm going. So, but I think that's really, do you know, because how do you get past that kind of, because when you're there, let's say networking, for example, right? You're at networking or you're creating content, because that's what we're talking about. You're creating content. What you want to do, what's built in us all, is to talk about our company, what we can do and how we're going to help you. But I think we all agree that it's the personal brand part, that's the bit that's going to matter. How do you get past that kind of, this is what I feel I should do, but this is what I know I should do, you know? So I
think what you've got to see is a stage before selling. You know, you're not going to go in there and just tell somebody, okay, this is my product and I want you to buy it for this reason. Actually, let's break down a barrier first of all. Let's have a conversation with someone, you know, and that's the same across the board on socials, on networking, on advertising, on video, whatever. They want to get to know you. And by getting to know you, they get to know the brand.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Justina, what do you think?
So yeah, storytelling is a huge part of, it's a huge asset that we can take advantage of in several ways. And when it comes to video, when you are beginning a video, you want to, and this is a little bit beyond where you started this discussion, where you're actually talking about your origin story, either your personal story or your origin story, and related to the business, because many people's personal story is their origin story of their business. But that's not true of everyone. Or even if you do have a personal story that's your origin story, you don't necessarily want to share that with the world. It can be something very sensitive that you're maybe not ready to, or it's not appropriate, or it's completely unrelated to what you're doing. And so that to one side. But what the actual method of storytelling does is, in a video, you open a video, program, movie, you post, podcast, you open up with introducing a story loop. You open a story loop, you set the scene. And our human behavior, we have to close story loops. And that's what, when done well, is why you watch EastEnders again and again and again. And what happens is and there's lots of story loops. Harry Potter has one overarching one per movie, but then there are so many, you'd lose count how many little story arcs there are, and story loops within it. And at the end, and this is where the power is, at the end, when you've closed the story loop, you've given them what they came to you for, that you opened at the beginning of that content, you close that, so you satisfy them. But then you have to open another story loop before you finish, that you leave open. That
it's
then,
not if you're watching Line of Duty.
Yeah.
Which one?
Unless you're watching Line of Duty and that's not closed and no one likes it, but hey, that's sorry.
Sorry, Justina. I apologise.
Just.
I was enjoying listening to Justina until your lowbrow comment, my darling.
Well, I don't really watch that one myself.
Oh, big fan.
Oh, okay. But
I actually like the ending, actually.
Enough. We're back to Justina. Sorry, we interrupted.
Well, that's it, really. Is that at the end you want to kind of where you can bring that power into using stories as a technique and storytelling as a technique, is then you want to open up another story loop at the end, and that can just be through a question, or you're just raising in some other element of curiosity that then you say, well, that's what we're going to be doing in the next episode, or that's actually, if you click over here, what I'll tell you all about when you get there. And then you kind of create that binge consumption, which is actually what you want to trigger all of those algorithms in wherever your material is being held. That's what you want your viewers to be able to do. And of course, then they fall in love with you because you're making that content memorable, because we remember stories, don't we? Yeah. And that's when I'm working with people on what their content is. And obviously, when it's for example, when it's YouTube content, you don't want to necessarily script every single YouTube video, because that's going to be a lot of work, and you're not always going to get the authentic person coming through. So you write that structure down, and so you write triggers. And when you've got a story or an anecdote, you really just only have to give yourself the time when, and then the rest. You don't have to remind yourself, because you get into that story flow and you bring your audience with you. So
when I used to work in radio, so I did this for sort of 20 years. I used to do the breakfast show. So after the breakfast show, most days we would listen back to quite a few links, and we would go through them, critique them, and I would cry, and then get on with stuff in the next day. But at the time, you're like, oh, is this really a science? And they taught us how to build a link. So I know it's only a 3-minute link, but actually it's a great tool for storytelling. What they said was, you have a trigger lead in. So it's your one line that says what you're going to tell somebody, with a bit of tease in there. So I have the best story about a baker's. Okay, so then you go, okay, ears prick up. Okay, right, what's this story going to be? And then the rest of your link is the dazzling detail. So what happened at the baker's? And then at the end, there's your power out, which is almost like your punchline, your
mic drop.
Right, your mic drop. Yeah. So, but actually, that is what happens. And, when you're in the pub, and somebody says something or one line, and you go, hang on a minute, right, everybody shush. That's it, isn't it? It's that that first line in. But then I know other people who will take half an hour to get to that point on their story. But it's being sort of I'm sure that you don't, Emily.
I'm a little bit Jack and Ori, I'm not going to lie, a little bit.
But
But I quite like that as well, you know, but that's how they told us the science of storytelling. That's how they said to do it.
I think it is, because going back to YouTube as an example as well, I think a lot of us kind of speed through when it comes to creating videos, and we're doing them ourselves and we're not using a strategist or anyone to help with that production. It's about we forget that ultimately what's going to help us build our YouTube content of it is obviously the watch time, the amount of time people are engaging with it. And actually, if you're going to deliver the punchline in the first 20 seconds of your video, then there's absolutely no reason for them to stay for and they're going to move on.
We've done this, right? We've done this. So we have a few YouTube videos out. Some do okay. It's nothing massive, right? We're certainly not Casey Neistat or Mr. Beast, as I like to say. Far from
I haven't got $1 million.
They've got a few more subs than us, right? But when you watch the retention time, you can see the ones where we didn't really think about it. We answered it in like 30 seconds because the drop-off's there. And so you can see it, you know, and that's delivering kind of how to, this is how you do this on your smartphone type stuff. It's still the same principle, you know, whether you're doing an add value helping video or whether you're going down the vlog route, it's still that same principle of storytelling.
I think what we're trying to deliver the facts and trying to get that across really, really quickly. But what we forget as business owners, and this is to everyone who's watching as well, is the fact that Zoe said it as well. People buy from people. People want to get to know you, and the longer that you're spending talking about it, and you're becoming a bit endearing. People get to know you and understand. By the end of that video, that kind of endpoint is important, but it's they want to come and watch more from you, and it's understanding that journey throughout that video is important for them to get to know you, to like what you're doing, to understand your kind of the way in which you're delivering, and then that endpoint to okay, what can I learn now? And the likes of Mr. Beast and stuff. If anyone does watch Mr. Beast, I mean,
taught him everything he knows.
22, and like he's a multi-billionaire and he's smashing it on there. But people want to watch more and more because regardless, and he is a business owner, whether you think he's a creator.
Yeah, he has a huge production team. Yeah, he has a big production team.
They are. There's that intrigue there. Is the why they're bringing like those underdogs in, and it's really, really funny and really entertaining. And I think as business owners, we can take that opportunity to be able to deliver that with our own content and not necessarily so focused on like, okay, this is my product and I need to deliver.
Yeah, right. What those creators do so well, and if you then start to observe the highly successful entrepreneurs in our kind of realm, they're all connecting emotionally, and that's what gives storytelling gives you that opportunity to connect with an emotion, emotionally with your audience, and also then through your stories you're delivering your values, and then when that other person can align with the same values or similar parts of the story, and they can reflect themselves in you, then you have them.
They
love you.
Sorry, Justina.
No, that's
come on, will you take your turn, ladies?
Sorry. I'm always like, I remember when so we were doing a charity event on the radio, and I can go on there and I can say, okay, this is the charity, this is what they do, give us some money, but rather than that, I think my boss at the time called me head of emotion. I think both in a sort of title sense and a literal sense. And we were talking about a charity that helps and looks after children born with deafness. And I was sort of putting the story out there by saying, okay, imagine when you had your child, imagine when your niece or nephew was born, and putting them in that situation. So the storytelling puts them in that situation, it connects with them emotionally. And it just creates that story in their heads. That's what you're trying to do always with your business, is connect with people, isn't it? Yeah. You need this because of, okay, let's take you back to here. That's why you need this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Should we see Laurie's
Absolutely.
comment?
Well,
on
we're going to chuck up a couple of comments, and then we're 5 minutes over already. We need
Oh,
to.
How is this going to
No,
work?
that's fine. I know.
I got something else to say as well.
You feel free.
No, we're moving on to We're going on to Instagram Live for the after party. If anyone wants to come along. Love this idea of loops. Really gets me thinking. Thank you. And Tini has put, hi guys, very interesting topic. I tend to Jackanories with stories too.
Nothing wrong with a bit of Jackanory. Thank you very much.
No.
Yeah, we love that.
And what else we got? Chris Mooney. Where's he gone? Great to meet you both.
Chris is
Aw.
actually going to be
Chris.
speaking as one of our speakers as well on the 18th of May.
Yes. Right. So, quick bit of information on the Digital Circus Live before we wrap this bad boy up. So 18th of May 2021, 2 weeks today.
2 weeks today.
We will be doing the Digital Circus Live. But what is it? I hear you all crying. Well, the Digital Circus Live is a one-day event. It's a celebration of digital visibility, business growth and opportunity. And we've got everything covered that you may want. We've got a networking area, so you can go and meet new businesses, collaborate, create relationships and share your stories. We've got an expo area full of companies where you can go and check out what's going on in your industry and outside of your industry, because we're very big on growth outside of what you do day to day. We then have 6 keynote speakers who are going to inspire and motivate and share their stories with you and get you going. And then we have 10 workshop hosts that are going to be showing you how to do all this. And that's from YouTube and podcasting to live streaming to you. We've got a mindset and growth mindset and imposter syndrome coach, Chris Mooney. And what's Laurie? Laurie's helping you. Lauren. LDV. I keep knowing her as LDV. And Lauren is going to help you understand yourself and what you can do in your strengths. So we've got and much more creativity, branding, photography, and everything else. So it's all covered. If you want to get a ticket, the link is scrolling across at the bottom. We've got www.thedigitalcircus.co.uk. Head there now and get yours.
And we are also doing 2 more lives this week with 4 other speakers from the Digital Circus Live. Tomorrow we are speaking to Chris and Lauren at 8 p.m. tomorrow, so do make sure you put that in your diaries. And on Thursday we're talking to Ant and Kaylee, who are going to imagery as well. So make sure you put those in your diaries and get involved in the conversation.
Cool. Justina, Zoe, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Great to be here.
This is my StreamYard wave, not the Zoom wave. That's
Thank you very much, guys.
Very
Thank
good.
you for watching, everyone.
Cheers.